What a bullet! Scott Arfield! He's been threatening that recently, and all the Burnley players run to the Darwin end.
Burnley win the next ball. It's Rory now. On the outside, decent.
Barnes! He's got it! Ashley Barnes with it! What a cross from Rory! And there was Ashley Barnes! And Burnley leading the derby.
Knocks it quickly, finds Benson in space at the byline. Can Burnley get a goal here? Back for Brownell, saved by the keeper.
Burnley won it to the end. That is magnificent. They deserve that.
On it by Paul Teller, on for a hat-trick.
He's got it. Hat-trick for Nathan Teller. Oh, he's on fire at the minute. 3-0 Burnley. It's Nathan Teller's day.
And Burnley are 3 up here. Fantastic derby. Here's Benson, can he go on the outside? Comes inside, have a shot.
Oh, and a goal. Manuel Benson once more. That is top class. Burnley have done it. Fantastic. Clarets deserve the championship title. They've been the best side throughout the campaign. Burnley have won the second tier. What a fantastic achievement. The players have been magnificent.
Yes, hello everybody and welcome along to the latest episode of the Turfcast podcast, full-time show. After that horrendous display down at the G-Tech Community Stadium, I was one of the unfortunate ones that thought, you know what, it'll be a nice day out, I'll go down. It was not a nice day out. I got drenched, I got annoyed. I even had to move seats at half time because I was too packed into a seat, so I went and sat in seats that were not as busy. But thank you everybody for tuning in. As you can see, I've got Neil Layfield with me and Sam, who runs the Clarets Roundup page. How you doing, boys?
Hello, mate.
I could just let you all know Sam is ready and raring to go, but we will wait. We will wait. It may or may not have calmed down since we all came into the green room, but we'll see. Thank you. Get your comments coming in. Let me all know what you thought of the game. If you can sum it up in the comment section, we always like to get other people's views and opinions because I've always said that this channel's for everybody, not just for me, Sam and Neil and the other people that do help out. It's for everybody. I want it to be a voice of the fans. And we did get a bit of stick this week, told the channel was wank. But the channel is for everybody. So you can join into this channel as well. Make it less wank, please. So get your comments coming in. We will help out. And if you want to send in videos for the fan reaction, again, I'm always happy to get people in. I didn't even need to do one myself this weekend because every person sent one in, even Sam. But it wasn't really YouTube worthy with Sam's. It was more of a Twitter thing. But we did put it out on Twitter. But Ryan Collins is in the chat. Thank you for getting your comments in, Ryan. He says, gentlemen, I back company, but really beginning to question decisions. Had the team back early doors pre-season to prepare the group to then throw players into the first 11 days after signing them. And he goes on to say it's beginning to look like a terrible window with no plan B in games. Heads are dropping too easily and a clear lack of experience in that side to steady the ship and be vocal when needed. I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing, and I'll ask the boys on that in a little bit. But there's a lot of people now turning around and saying that window was dreadful, but it's all the same people that are going on about how the window was a 10 out of a 10. So you can't have it both ways, everybody. Not saying that you said that, Ryan, by the way. There's just a lot of people on Twitter now going, oh, what a dreadful window. But then if you look at their previous tweets back in July, they were saying 10 out of 10. So yeah, you can't have it everywhere. Anonymous says Vincent wanted to control the transfers at Anderlecht too. The board said hell no. Burnley's now finding out why he got denied that request. Vincent, I'm going to say Vincent's in the chat. He might be. I'm going to say Solid's in the chat. Evening, Solid. It's been a while since I've seen you on a live stream. How you doing, mate? Hope the yacht's looking well. Martin said, hi, guys. How's things going? Good, aside from football, mate. Solid Clarets says, Sam, counting how many times you say like, listen is the one you want to look out for. It's listen. When he says listen, he's about to go.
Likes the Yorkshire in me coming out. You're right, lad. How's it going, lad? You're right.
Yeah, as someone who works in Leeds, I can concur with that one. Reese James, not the Chelsea fullback, the Burnley fan. Reese says the issue is a player turnover. Last season it took us 3 months to get going, and it's the same again. Big difference is that we could be That we could tread water for 10 games in the Championship, not in the Premier League. Yeah, I think I'm leaning more towards that, to be honest with you, mate. Harry says, another poor performance. I think it highlights a poor window, as we've not really strengthened what needed strengthening. One word, shambles, says Jamesy lad. Reese James is back in the chat. Only 3 of the 16 players that featured on Saturday started for us last year, Cullen, Roberts and Brownhill, and one of those came on as a sub. Far too many new faces too soon. You know what? I knew there were new faces, and I knew there was a lot of them. 3 of 16. That's high, isn't it, that one? Which it is worrying. First game I've left early during my 26 years on planet Earth. I left when the 3rd went in, Ross, so you're not on your own, but it's not the first I've left early. I'm not one of them that leaves early all the time. The last time I left early was City last year, and you can understand. I think I left when the 6th one went in after that. George Rodriguez says, love the Patriots, so they're coming from a Burnley fan from RI, Rhode Island. Yeah. Viz is in the chat. Always good to see Vizzy. Always good to see Vizzy. Thank you for the video this week, mate. Very, very well thought through, very good opinions, and a very good decision to record it and then delete the first one and then re-record it again, I think, because that's something that I always end up looking like a bellend on, because I just shout and shout and shout, and then I just put it up. Harry goes on to say, good investing in players with potential to sell for profit, but the current squad shouldn't suffer on the hope for potential. Andy Benny says, in serious need of some therapy. Yeah, well, that's what we're here for, Andy. Get your comments in. We'll help you. Sam Matt said you going again, but me and Neil will try and, calm me back down again. Chronicles of Charles says, very disappointing performance. Tactics were wrong. Tried to play through the middle and got cut out too easy. We need to play the ball out wide. Sorry, George. My American knowledge isn't really good. Oh no, we've got a Brentford fan in the chat. I should have read this before I put it up, but he says, as a Brentford fan who went to the game, I think you're only good players. Old Trafford, you fucking talking. Get off. Get out of it. It's not Trafford at all. The True Red says, question need to be asked now, same week in, week out. Right, enough of the comments. Keep them coming in. We'll come back to them as and when, but we do need to have a chat ourselves. We're on for 9 minutes. I will first give my thoughts because I didn't send in a match reaction. But obviously we weren't good enough. I just feel that there's a lot of people have said it already in the comments, but the high turnover of players isn't helping. Vincent, we're not allowed to criticise him, but I think a lot of it now has got to be, we've got to start questioning the decisions that he's doing, because it's made a lot of mistakes. It's made a lot of mistakes, I think, as Vincent. Look back earlier in the season, it was this left-back scenario. He kept playing people who weren't left-backs in left-back. Delcourt, experiment failed. Roberts, experiment failed. And then eventually he sticks Charlie Taylor in. And yes, he's no Ian Martson. But we do look a lot better with him there. And I think Vincent should have done that a lot earlier. I think now it's a similar thing with Trafford. I think he's playing Trafford when that's why I got annoyed at the Brentford fan, because I think he should be playing Muric. Now, a lot of people, and I'm sure I'll get a little bit of a stick for this, is a lot of people, as Solent's already put a stat up there, 72% passing accuracy. He made some good saves, did Trafford, but his shot stopping has never been in question for me. He's always been a decent shot stopper. He doesn't come for enough crosses, although he was better at that this weekend. I'll give him that. But it's how long he takes to release the ball. It's just how long it takes to release the ball. I just think Muric is better suited for us, just like Heaton was better suited for us in the Joe Hart versus Heaton debate. But the defence is a shambles. Just practically might as well just not turn up. Like the amount of time and space that they had to hit them long range efforts. I've said it on Twitter and I'll say it again. Yes, people might be scoring worldies against us every week, but you've got to look at yourselves. We're the common denominator in that. Our defence is the common denominator in that. Why are teams always scoring worldies against us? Because they have too much time and space in the middle of the park to set themselves, look where the keeper is saying, I might have a pop here. Shall I have a pop? Burnley are like, should we close him down? Maybe go and close him down. Yeah, we'll go and close him down. Too late. It's in the back of the net. It's just the defence is poor. And it's not just the defence. When I say defence, people just go, well, what about the midfield? Yes, the midfield is also poor, but I'm talking about the defensive unit. The Brentford fans back again. Trafford is not a Burnley goalkeeper. He doesn't suit the way that we play, in my opinion. He made some good saves. And by the way, it should have been 6-1 if you want to play that because we missed an open goal. But he did make some good saves. I'll give him that. But it's never been his shot stopping for me. But the defence, and as we defend as a team, just isn't enough. We're not good enough at the minute, and we are just very, very poor. Brentford have got some good players, but they've won one game all season. They're a good side, but I'm not going to hide behind the opponents anymore. They've got some good players. They've won one game all season, and they'd not scored that many goals. I remember talking to the Brentford fan from B Sotted, and he said, look, we're creating some chances, but we're not really scoring enough. What did they do against Burnley? Stuck 3 past us. And it just highlights how our problems. It really, really does. And I just think we're defending very, very poorly. We can't defend as a team. We can't really do anything. And I just want to quickly bring some up on screen for you when it finally loads onto your screen. There you go. So they're the stats from the game. We conceded 23 goal attempts, 23 shots Brentford had. We had 6. And we had the same amount of possession as them. So what does that tell you? It tells you half the possession that we're doing is just not worthy. So shots on target, 10. They had 10 shots on target. We had 1. We were absolutely battered by a team who have good players. I'm not saying Brentford aren't a good team, because they are, and I do think they'll be well clear of safety. But a team that had won once all season and a team that was struggling to score goals. That's my tuppence. Thought I'd get it in because I didn't send a match reaction. Neil, I'll come to you first. I'll let keep Sam stewing. But Neil, your thoughts on the game and just everything surrounding Burnley at the minute?
Everything you said there, mate. I think from top down, I'm talking pace, down to the every man on the pitch is not Premier League ready at the minute. On reflection, it did look good that we've spent 100 million or whatever on the transfer window, because we've never had that. But when you look back, I think company and pace, whoever ultimately decides, just got a little bit giddy and just bought every name that was thrown at them because they had cash and just went, oh yeah, buy him, without any thought or planning. Because that squad isn't balanced, doesn't work. We haven't. On reflection, I thought I was a bit harsh on Saturday, but then I thought about it and I still stand by it. I don't think there's anybody who company's starting at the minute who is actually Premier League quality. And it's being found out massively now. If I'm one of the players who got us up here, so I'm talking Muric, Zaruri, I know Benson's made of glass, so it's sort of his own doing, really. But if I'm those lads, I'm asking for a transfer because they're not getting a look in.
What must Rory be thinking? Seeing Trezor trudge around the pitch.
Yeah, he's seeing this. Muric, understand, if I'm him, I'm putting a transfer request in because I've done nothing to deserve getting dropped and I'm being replaced with, in my opinion, inferior players. Now, it's not to say that I don't think they're good players. I do think they're good players. I just don't think they're not ready yet. And what's happened is we've spent 100 million on potential, which is a little bit naive, which is our problem. Because for me, and I was chatting with someone on early today, we should have spent 50 million on this young potential. If we've got a budget of 100 million, say, which I don't think we do, I think we just got a bit carried away. But it was 50 million quid on this young potential that's unproven, and 50 million quid on what we know will do a job in the Premier League. Because if we're going to spend that money, we need to stay here. We can't splash out all that money just for it to flop and go down again. I know it's a long-term project, but the other side of it is if we do go down and these players are playing like this all season, is their stock going to stay at that level where we actually recoup that money? I think top down, there's nothing at the minute to suggest we're Premier League ready. Now, we might grow into the season and become Premier League ready January, February. By that time, it's too late. Because the Premier League season is 38 games and it goes too quickly and the quality is too good. The other part of me is thinking, again, hindsight, but were we just all a little bit too giddy last season? Were we really that good, or was the Championship just really shit and we were all right? I don't know. I don't know where I'm at, but I know I definitely want to go back and change my prediction about us handing out a few spankings, because I don't think we will. I genuinely don't think we will.
I agree with everything you said. It's just not good enough at the minute. I think I agree. I think a lot of people have now come to the shouting and screaming part of we're just shit. We're not good enough. None of these players are good enough. I'm of your thinking like they're just not ready. We've made too many changes. Like Vincent Kompany said it himself. Like he said it in the documentary, like, you know, people take, 150 training sessions or whatever he said to get used to the way I play. So why are you bringing people in that you've just signed then? He's not used to the way you play. Yeah. Why are you playing all these players that you've just signed in the summer when none of them are used to the way you play? Bring people in slowly.
This is what I've been saying about Trafford, because I know people think I'm digging him out. I do think he's a good keeper, and as a shot stopper, he's really good. But our system of play, we need more than a shot stopper. So let Muric play, who knows the system. Let Zaruri play, who knows the system. Keep Benson fit. Let him play. I mean, the transfer window priority should have been keep the players we had, and then we'll build around them. not go looking for other unprovens. If he knows it takes X amount of training sessions, keep the ones we've got, because that team was fluid towards the back end of that season. It picked itself. Vinny probably didn't have to do tactics. It was just knew what it was doing. Go up, drop everybody, or don't sign everybody who knows the system, and play people who don't, and play catch up in the toughest league in the world is just baffling.
Agree. Sam, your thoughts on the match then and everything surrounding the club so far? Respond to some of the comments.
Get me popcorn.
It's just shocking, isn't it? Really, like when you break everything down now, like you guys say, hindsight, brilliant thing. Like transfer window, I'm one of those people that said 10 out of 10 window because on paper it was. We've wanted a season where we've gone and signed every attacking player under the sun, and we have all these attacking options. And none of us probably sat back because of how good that was and thought, what do we really need to stay in this division? And my biggest thing that I've seen from this weekend is, like Neil says, naivety. It's ridiculous how naive we are. It's embarrassing how naive we are. Alan Pace, we've signed what feels like hundreds of players now, and not one of them, in my opinion, has hit the ground running. Not one of the new signings has hit the ground running. Sander Berge has been growing into form. Koleosho, probably the only one that's hit the ground running. He didn't even start the weekend.
Yeah. But company's getting it wrong with him, isn't he?
Yeah, but why? But why would you then drop the only one? It winds me up. Yeah.
But then move that on to then from Alan Pace to company. That's naivety. How naive is that? How do you have players that are performing well and then go, oh, do you know what? Like, he hasn't played for a while. Let's put him in. You're not Chelsea. We're not Man City. We're not Man United. We don't have £70 million to go out and spend for somebody on the bench. We've got players that need to be in a system. We need to be a systematically good football club. Every single team that has beat us so far this season, barring Man United and Chelsea, have been systematically good football teams that play as a unit. We play like 11 players on a pitch that don't know each other, that have been sent out by a bloke that they don't respect at all, or remember any tactics that they've learned all the way through every training session that we've had, from an owner that signed you for a club you don't even want to play for. That is what we are playing like now. We are not playing like a team that wants to play for Burnley, that wants to play for company, and wants to play for each other. And it's embarrassing to watch at the moment. Like that first half was embarrassing. 3 shots and 1 on target to their 15-7. Every single time they got the ball, they turned us over, threw on goal, hitting shots from outside box, threw on goal, a disallowed goal. It should have been 6-0 in the first half. That's how embarrassingly bad we were. And the thing that people were saying weeks and weeks and weeks ago when we were playing Villas and all these other teams, that everyone was saying, oh, they're a top 6 team, leave Burnley alone. No, this has been coming since week 1, since we had an average performance. Because now you look back, it was an average performance against City. We still weren't great. We just looked okay against the best team in the league. That performance of being okay against the best team in the league has been the same in every game now. We have been average in every game, and every other team just excels against us because we're the easiest side currently in the division to beat. Sheffield United are giving teams difficult games. Everyone's saying they're going down with a breeze. They only just got beat by United the other day. Like, we went down with a whimper when we played United, and we've gone to Brentford away and we've gone down with a whimper, and we look pathetic.
Yep. Can't really disagree with any of it. We do look pathetic at the minute. We do look like nobody. We look like nobody wants to play for company. I know what you're saying. You're not saying that nobody does want to play for company. Sorry, doesn't want to play for company. But we do look like that. That's obviously the point.
Tresso does, man. Tresso 100% looks like he doesn't want to play for company.
It does. And I did say it in the 60-second review. A lot of people have been saying he don't want to be here. I'm not going to go as far as to say he doesn't want to be here, because I think that's a bit harsh. But it looks like, I understand now why people are saying that, because he does look like he's trudging around the pitch. This is what I mean about, you've got Zarori and Benson. All right, you mentioned Benson's injured and stuff. I know he is. You've got all these players that did so well for us last season that have just been dropped to sit on the bench and watch somebody trudge around and look like he can't be arsed. Like, what must players be thinking? They're thinking, well, what's the fucking point? Like, why am I doing this in training just to sit on the bench? And Berg must be thinking, what's the point in me putting these performances in attacking midfield if I'm just going to get put back to DM where I'm shit? And this is what's winding me up. And again, like, Coley Oshaw's played so well on the wings, and Odebear come in and played well on the wings. And what does he do? He drops Coley Oshaw and sticks Trezor in there. And I was just like, why? Give the people that deserve, that have done well there, because Trezor's done nothing yet. I do think he has the capabilities in him to come good. Whether he will or not for us, I don't know. The Premier League just might not be his bag. We'll see. But the decisions that company is making,
2 games in a row. 2 games in a row on him.
Yeah, it's baffling.
The thing is that, like, so I appreciate everyone saying about Trezor. I do. I get that. But no one looks good in that team now. There's not a single person at the moment, genuinely, other than Lyle Foster, who can actually say that he looks anywhere near good on a football pitch at the moment.
Do you not think, though, mate, if Trezor was good, though, that he would shine like Foster is? If Trezor was that bit better, he would shine.
But is Foster only looking good because he's the only person putting the ball in the back of the net for us? If he didn't score, and if he hasn't scored yet this season, would you say his performances have been unbelievable? I wouldn't. It's only because he's getting the statistics to back up the relatively decent hold-up play that he's doing, and the fact that he is running around up front like a blue-ass fly. And he is just running around and running around and running around. And he's getting rewarded for that effort. That's the side of it that I like. Like, I'm seeing a lot of effort from Lyle Foster. He's reaping the benefits of that effort by getting the goals. And I think he's got, 3 goals, 2 assists, 4 goals, 2 assists, something like that. Like, he's actually looking okay. Trezor looks no different than Odebear did yesterday. Like, Odebear couldn't get into the game either. Like, I know Trezor's this marquee signing that we're meant to have made. Go back to the midfield. Sander Berge's not a DM, so what is he doing in there? Josh Cullen looks a shell of the player that he was last season. He doesn't look like he can control the midfield at all. I thought he was going to come into the league and be one of the best newly promoted midfielders in the entire league. And he's not looked good at all. That defence behind him, though, I'd be exactly the same. Who on earth's behind me? Because they're not the same every week. You turn around and you're like, who's this? Who's right centre half? Who's playing left back today? You haven't got a clue. Pick a defence, stick with it. Pick a midfield, stick with it. Stop faffing around.
That's part of the problem, isn't it? Company doesn't know his best 11. He's got too many players to play, and he's trying to sort of bed the new 100%. Players in. So he needs to give them game time. So he's trying to give game time to about 100 new players, ignoring the ones who are established and know the system already, and doesn't know what his strongest 11 is.
Mate, look at his bench. Look at our bench now. Our bench. If our defence isn't working, who are you bringing on? The centre half he signed from Anderlecht for £1 million. That's it. Or Vitinho, who he signed for 800 grand in the Championship. So they are 2 defensive options. Then, if you're defensively lax like we were the other day, and you should be 6-0 down at half time, you can't change that defence because you're bringing in a lesser quality player from what's already there, which is already shocking. Oh, but it's all right. You've got 9 players that you can bring on off at bench that can change the attack. We had 1 shot. So what does that show you? We had 1 shot on target the entire game. So bringing them all on and changing the attacking quarter of the team means nothing. We still lost 3-0. We still played shocking. We still went down without a fight. And it's pathetic to watch now. And the thing is, it's almost like you can't say this now because of how good last season was. Last season is a fairy tale Burnley season. I've watched Burnley for nearly 17, 18 years of my life. I have never seen a Burnley season like last season, and nobody else will. No one will see another season like last season that we've seen. That's a fairy tale season. So I've accepted that. And what we've seen before, sometimes you could say the football wasn't great, the football wasn't this, the football wasn't that. That team wouldn't have put in a performance like that. Those Sean Dyche teams of the Premier League of the past would not have put in a performance like that. That performance was pathetic. Literally,
those teams were hard to beat, weren't they?
The second it started to the end of the game, we were pathetic. And like I say, I don't. People can say what they want. Last season was a fairy tale. This season is now. I'm living in this moment, and what I'm watching right now is nothing compared to last season. We've not even brought any of the same qualities that we had last season. We've come into the Premier League and look like that season never happened. We don't even look the same team. Who are these players? They're not even, like you guys said, there's only 3 players from the starting 11 last season.
It's not the same team. Yeah, we don't look the same teams. It's not the same team.
When we went up last season, right, and you'd have said to me, Benson and Ziyech aren't starting, I'd have laughed at you. I'd have been like, there's no way. They're going up and they're going to be 20, 30 million pound players next season because they're going to be unbelievable and they're going to kick on from the season that they've had. What have they done to be dropped for people that are younger than them and have, and that comment's right, it's too much tinkering. We're not City. We're not Chelsea. We're not United. You can't change the team like that. We're Burnley. You need a system and you need to stick to it. It's ridiculous.
I don't know if you guys have noticed that there's a couple of players who aren't getting picked, like Muric, for example, who's been very active in the last week showing training videos. So I don't know if he's trying to sort of say, look, I'm still here. Or he's trying to send a message out to other clubs saying, you know, I'm playing.
I'm still working.
Yeah, I'm still working, sort of thing. So
I'm still working out.
Just to bring something in that was come from a Sky Sports journalist, Sky Sports Deutschland journalist, just before we went live. He says, news, Aaron Muric, 24-year-old, is focused on Burnley and he wants to play regularly after a good season last year. He's behind the 19 million Trafford at the moment. Several clubs are rating him highly, Union Berlin and Sevilla. Ideas about a loan with an option to buy in winter. If we do that, I will be fuming. But it sounds like according to this guy, wants to play for us. But obviously, if he doesn't play by winter time, or by obviously it means January, then it could be a case of, right, I've done what I wanted to do, I'm off.
If I'm him, I'm asking my agent for a move already. I'm saying, sort me out, because I can't. He's not going to get in the team. 100%. The international break was the chance to drop Trafford, because the company could have just said, "Oh, he's picked up an injury," or he could have made any old bullshit. It was a good chance to drop him, and he didn't. So he's never going to get dropped. We need to accept that company's going to stick with him. So if I'm Muric, I'm already asking for a transfer. As much as I want to play for Burnley, I'm already asking.
The only disclaimer I will say about Trafford, though, from the weekend is that is the only game so far that when he's been in a Burnley shirt where he can where genuinely none of that's his fault. Like the first goal, he was slow. It was none of that was his fault. That was every single player.
It wasn't.
Was shocking. Like that performance is one of the worst performances, and he has nothing to do with that. Like any goalkeeper would have conceded them goals.
No, I agree with that. And my issue isn't that I don't think Trafford's a good keeper. I think he is, but I think for our system, he's not suited to our system. He's not the keeper for us. The same way that De Gea wasn't suited for how Ten Hag wants to play at Man United.
There was a few situations on Saturday when he had the ball and the players sort of like moved into their positions quickly and just held on for too long. And it's like that's part of our game. Get it out to the players quickly and beat the lines, beat the press. And he held on for too long. Brentford getting their position again. That's the only thing that bothers me about him. He's definitely a good goalkeeper. He's definitely one for the future, and I genuinely believe he will be the England number one. Or thereabouts. He will play games for England quite regularly, and I think be the England number one. But for now, he needs time to get used to the system. And Muric is another one. We've sit here and gone, Zarori must think, what the fuck's going on? If I'm sat here on the bench and Trezor's playing, like where am I? Muric is another one. He should be playing. He is currently a better goalkeeper, in my opinion, than James Trafford right now. Trafford will be better probably in his career. Muric is better suited for this team than us now.
I agree, and I have stated that over and over and over again that I would like to see Muric have a go in this team. 100% right. But if you're James Trafford now, would you play the ball? Would you play the ball wide to Connor Roberts? How he's playing at the moment, would you play the ball wide to him? Do you have any trust in giving Connor Roberts the ball to play forward now?
No, but you've got it. You've got to, haven't you? You've got to.
The system you've got to.
Just because you have to, because it's
long's not working either.
Connor Roberts has been one of our worst players so far this season. Every single ball into midfield, it's been terrible. Charlie Taylor's never been that kind of player. Charlie Taylor has never, ever been that kind of player and never got given the opportunity to play in that side when we were doing it good. So he hasn't got a clue properly how it works. So when he gets the ball, he's still lumping it long down the line and he's still playing into feet really fast. He's not playing into midfield. But that's the next thing. We don't have experienced players or people that are going to take the game by the scruff of the neck and turn around and be a leader on the pitch. Like Bayer is the closest one of all the new signings that we've made to being that. He's injured, so he can't play. Al-Dakhil is a kid. He is literally a child, and he's playing centre half in the Premier League. And whoever's next to him doesn't know how he plays, because Dara O'Shea plays every 4 games. Because when Bayer comes back in and then inevitably gets injured every 2 games, he jumps back in, plays 2 games with Al-Dakhil, or maybe it'll be Ekdal week after. Oh, no, never mind. Delquar's going to start there. Just pick a team and roll with it, and use the experienced players that you've got now. Benson and Ziyech are more experienced than Koleosho or De Beer, players like that. Sander Berge has more experience than Amdouni does in the Premier League. Just play him. Just try it. Just try Sander Berge in the 10. Play Cullen in midfield with Brownhill, and just because they're two players that have played with us last season. They know the system. Just try it. Put Zeruri and Benson on each wing when they're fit. Try it. Put Foster up front. Try it. Just play a team. Don't try and be fancy. Don't look at all the transfer fees that you've played. Don't look at the new players and be like, well, we've signed them. We have to play them. Just try it. Just try and play a team of players that know how we played last season and chuck a couple of sprinkling players into it. I'm doing it. He's been a player that's shown a lot of quality. He's one of the first names on the team, not on the team sheet, but one of the first players to get integrated into the side. Afterwards, bring him off the bench. Put Amdouni in the 10 for the last 30. See how he gets on. That's how you get them better. Don't throw them in every single game and go, right, lads, see how he plays, because he hasn't played with you yet this season. It's like, well, obviously, it's so you can see it, and no team's scared to play us now because it's like, oh, he don't know where he's going. He cuts inside. He don't pass to him. They don't go forward. He passes it backwards. It was so easy to beat. If you're the other team, you look at us and you just go, there, Burnley, sound 3 points, no worries.
Yeah, it is like that now. I'd say for me, I'd be putting Cork in the team now to show that midfield. Cullen looks absolutely lost. I know Cork's legs have gone, but he's got the experience and he's got the leadership to guide the other ones through it. Because that's the problem, is that we've got nobody guiding these young players through. Because they're all sort of like, well, what we do?
We do need a leader.
So get Cork in. I know he can't do 90 minutes, and he will get a book in at some point. So inevitably we'll get banned. But stick him in definitely for Bournemouth, because he's going to help them through that game. Just try it, yeah.
You're trying everything else. You're trying all young lads against each other. Like, just try it. Like I said, one of the biggest things that I said from the weekend was you took off 18-year-old Wilson Oliver and brought on 19-year-old Luca Collier in a game where you try to take the game back, scruff at neck, and get back into the game. Like, you're bringing a kid on for a kid. So you're not changing anything. Yeah. You're bringing a pacey winger on for a pacey winger. You're not changing anything. You're just using players that you've got because you've bought so many of the same player. And like I say, like we've all said, hindsight's a beautiful thing. Like, it was a 10 out of 10 window. It was. It felt like it before the ball was kicked. It was a 10 out of 10 window. We brought in brilliant wingers with loads of quality, loads of flair, and that's what we wanted to see for ages. What we have now realised is that £50 million of that budget should have gone on Taylor Howard-Bellis, Ian Matson and Nathan Teller, and then spend £50 million on everything else. But that's been and gone now. Like, you have to say it, but you can't go back on that. But that's what we should have done. We should have put all his eggs in the Matson, Teller and Howard-Bellis basket and chuck players in elsewhere. That's what we should have done.
In defence of that, though, mate, I genuinely don't think Matson wanted to come back. So forget him. I don't think he wanted to come back.
I also think Teller was only on for the first 2 weeks of the transfer window. As soon as he was back in Southampton training videos and pictures, he was gone. He won't coming back to them.
Yeah. So I think, definitely we could have got Teller and we could have got Howard-Bellis, but I think Matson was never going to come, to be honest, when you look at it. I think he had no intention of coming back.
Yeah, I agree. I think the fact that he essentially turned us down at the end of the transfer window proves that. And then if he were that, but I didn't see too much issue with the video where he said, Blues, I'm staying. But if he was focused on Burnley, he would have come in the first instance and then he wouldn't have done that. Question from Vizzy, but I think we answered it earlier on, didn't we, Neil? He says, who in our team right now is Premier League quality?
No one. To find anybody, really. The manager isn't. The manager's unproven at this level.
Yeah, a lot of questions about the manager right now. I'm not for 1 second. Some of the people on Twitter the other day were saying Company out. I'm not for 1 second saying anything like that.
No, the thing with Company, mate,
he needs to be discussed, and the decisions that he's making, because they're all wrong.
He's not Teflon.
Every week he's making mistakes.
He's not Teflon, and it is a project. So I'm not saying he needs to be sacked. He is the right man for this, but he needs to learn just as much as the players need to learn. He was a world class, one of the best centre halves the Premier League seen, but that doesn't translate to being a manager. And at the minute, he's getting found out very quickly at this level.
This in his tactics and things like that doesn't mean you want a manager sacked.
No.
We had 10 years of Dyche, and in that Dyche year, we probably went through spells where we lost 5 on bounce. Like, not once did you want rid of Dyche ever. Like, you know what someone's done for the club to the point where obviously they're not immune to, and never being sacked. But right now, 10 games in, nobody wants Vincent Kompany sacked. Nobody. Like, none of us three, nobody on Twitter, nobody in the stadiums, nobody wants Vincent Kompany gone. But you have to look at the manager's decisions now and say he's not getting it right. I know we're talking about the Brentford game, but go back to that Chelsea game. Why did Vitinho start? It was just so random. Del Quire was centre half. Like, what are you seeing that makes you think we need. I know injuries are a thing. I know they are, and I know you've got to try and keep players fit and stuff like that. But that was just so random. It's like, oh, Conor Roberts has played every game this season. Nice one, Coutinho. You're at right back. Why change it? Like, because then what that does is when you change something and it doesn't go right, that's the first thing people jump on is, well, you put Coutinho there and he clearly didn't work. It's like the game yesterday. You started with Odebear, you brought him off like 50 minutes into the game because he didn't work, and you brought on a 19-year-old Luke Koleosho who actually did genuinely come on and change the game a little bit. He was actually a lot better. He got a yellow card within 30 seconds of being on. Should have scored. Like, these situations are things that he's now getting wrong, and his team selection, I think, is down to the amount of players that he's got in an attacking lineup now. Like, for example, when we talk about our attacking players, nobody ever brings up Nathan Redmond. Nobody ever brings him up. That's because you forget about him because you bought so many. Like, you forget about Jakob Brun-Larsen. Everyone's Zaruri, Benson, Odebear, Trezor, Koleosho. You forget about these other players because we've bought so many. So to him, he's sat there looking at them all. And he might just well just go like that and just pick one because that's what it looks like at the minute. Like, you're not picking anybody with any strategical like answer behind it. You're not coming out in like, just be transparent with the fans now. Like, even and I know you can't because it's football and you can't be transparent with journalists and stuff like that. But just say, I put him in because I thought this would work and it didn't work. Like, just say, because then all you're getting now is everyone just sat there saying, why have you done it? Like, why have you changed the team so much week in, week out? And we still have only got one win, 4 points to show for it. We have minus 16 goal difference. We're going into games getting found out so easily. We're 1-0 down in 20 minutes every game we go into. And the team of last season, you'd have turned around and said, 1-0 down, fine. We've got 60 minutes to sort this out and we're going to sort it. We go 1-0 down now, I turn telly off. It's game over because we're not coming back into the game. We don't have the same fight that we did.
Yeah, the mentality's not there in these players.
There's no passion. You don't feel
heads
it.
drop.
And then
heads
the
drop as soon as you go one down.
But then they sat there emailing bloody season ticket holders saying, do we need a jump to sort out atmosphere? It's not us. It's not us. You start it, we carry it on. If you play shocking, why am I sat there spending 30 quid on a ticket to sit there and scream for you lot while you're 3-0 down away from home at Brentford? What am I singing for? Because I've come to watch you put in a decent performance and we've had 50% of the ball and you've given me 6 shots. So what am I singing for? You tell me what I'm chanting for. So don't that side of it's wrong. Don't start telling fans what they need to do to sort atmosphere out. Play better football, win football matches, then we'll be behind you. Or at least don't even win football matches. Play better. Just be anywhere near better than what we are now. And I'll sing from rooftop. Just right now, what am I backing you for? What am I singing for? Just ridiculous.
To be fair, the atmosphere at Brentford was actually good. In the second half, especially, like when we went 2-0 down, we were actually in the middle of a wheel alongside Burnley, really, really loud. They scored, we all went off for fuck's sake, and then we started singing Wheel alongside Burnley. We were doing our bit, but they weren't doing theirs. And I think all this drummer bollocks as well, like Vizzy said on his fan reaction this week, he's feeling detached. And I feel like the club have done that, not to Vizzy, but they've created like a divide between the fans and the club with this drummer malarkey. And now it's that the performances aren't helping. Then that fucking email went out. It's just all a lot of fuss about nothing.
This is
and then these performances as well. It's just not helping. Nobody's happy at the minute.
No, this comes back to what I was saying about there's nobody at the club who's Premier League level. I think like Pace and that, I think they're all naive in doing what they've done. Now, ultimately, I don't think it was probably Pace's idea to send that email. It'd be whoever's in charge of whatever. But as the figurehead of the club, it just shows the naivety of it for something like that to go out when we're as shit as we are.
There's a time and a place for it.
The time and a place, pick your time. Yeah, and that wasn't to do it.
But that's my thing though. That felt to me, and like Vizza said it perfectly. Like, you know, feeling detached from the club. We're not a club that should be winning every game. We're not. We never have been. So, but we should be doing a damn lot better than we are now. And not even, we say it every week and it's starting to get boring saying it. Like, lose to Brentford, you're kind of all right as long as you play well. Play well. Like, we're not getting any better. There's no steady improvement. Last season, we went into games like Hull and Stoke and drew 1-1. And you could still see signs there. We dominate the ball, 75% possession. You know, They score out of one of 3 chances they have the entire game. It's luck, but it's coming. Then we went 9 games on bounce winning. Like, this team doesn't have that, and this team doesn't have that time. So passing the blame, which is what it felt like, saying, well, look at us last season, we were on cloud 9, and now look at you, you're all miserable. That's you. That's not us. Don't sit there and send me emails telling me that I'm not doing my part. I'm paying money. I'm buying shirt in club shop. I'm buying tickets. I'm spending money on my season ticket. You're not doing your bit. It's not down to me. You bring a drum if you want. Play better football. See if the drum gets them going. We'll all be silent. You get that drum banging and see if they play any better. I'm telling you, ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that the atmosphere was decent on Saturday proves that as well.
Exactly.
Well, we've had a good 42-minute rant about how shit everything is. How do we fix it? How do we fix it? For me, the manager needs to stop tinkering. That's number one. We've got the players that we've got now until January when you sign another 30 wingers, even though that's not the issue. Get a steady team. Bring Juric in. I don't care about people saying, Jaffa did nothing wrong at the weekend, and he didn't. And I don't think he's done too much wrong. I just think Juric is better and suits us better. Mm-hmm. So bring Juric in. Stick with Charlie Taylor at left back. If you have to stick with Roberts at right back, then stick with Roberts because Vitinho's the only other option. Pick your central defenders. Stop playing Sanderberg in DM. Put him in AM if you have to, or don't play him at all. There's no point shoehorning him into the side in DM. Play Ramsey instead if you don't rate him as an AM, or what's he called? Amdouna in the 10. Cullen and Brownhill or Cullen and Cork in DM, something like that. And yeah, if you want to tinker with the team, tinker with your wingers. I mean, I wouldn't tinker with the wingers myself. Again, I'd have the wingers in there that have shown enough so far this season, like Coley-Oshaw, like Odebear, that have done enough. Like why you dropped Coley-Oshaw at the weekend is bizarre. And then he brought him on at half time. And what was he doing in the first 5 minutes? Text someone on, get someone booked. So the wingers didn't do, because you're making mistakes. You're making mistakes as a manager, picking the wrong team. And then obviously Foster up top. You need a steady team. That's the first thing. Get a team, get them in there. I'd even play the same team against Everton. Get a regular team in there, get them to know each other, and then if you need to tinker in little bits. Don't think to yourself, well, I've got to play Delquan out at centre-back. He's for start of the season at centre-back. I'll also make a change at right-back as well for no apparent reason. And just that's the first thing. A nice, steady, settled side, and then go from there.
What's interesting there, mate, is that pretty much everybody has said, play Cullen. What's Cullen done to automatically be picked for me? He's 100% droppable. He's not performed.
But we don't. This is the thing, though. We don't.
I just feel like he's the best that we've got, but it's not. Yeah, he's the best that we've got. And
like we went. Like I say, we've gone through this 10 out of 10 transfer window. It just was. We bought loads of flair players, and we've wanted to see it for years. We've wanted to see a Burnley team with 100,000 wingers because we've spent years having centre mids at right mid. Like now, we're in a position now where we don't need wingers. We need a big brute centre mid, and we thought we got it in Sanderberg, and then we realised he's a 10. So we've lost that completely. So now we don't have another centre mid. So we've actually only got Cork, Brownhill, and Cullen. So there actually is only 3 genuine central midfielders. Same goes for left back. Charlie Taylor gets injured. Who's going there? Like
Roberts again.
Yeah, but Connor Roberts gets injured. Who's going there? Vitinho. The depth on the wings and the depth up front and the depth in that 10 is ridiculous. The fact that we can talk about 3 players being in cam, 8 players being on wing, 3 players being up front. We're talking about a team now where you've got one other player to play centre midfield if Brownhill and Cullen aren't working, which they're not. And then the same with defence. There's and the tinkering side of it. Tinker at half time. Go into a game with your steady team. If that team's 1-0 down, tinker it then. Don't tinker before game and faff about and say, you played right back last week. Why didn't you do a job at left mid? And then you played right mid last week. So why didn't you go left back? Stop changing stuff like that. It's not Football Manager where everyone can play everywhere. Like, just put players where they can play. Put players where they feel comfortable and pick the same team for 3 or 4 weeks. And I can guarantee that same team that maybe loses 4-0 in week 1 won't lose 4-0 4 weeks in a row. Mm-hmm. But if you pick a team that loses 4-0 and then go into the next game and change 3 players, that team's very capable of still losing 4-0 because you're changing too much too consistently. Like you guys say, pick a team and go with it.
Yeah. So who is the team then? What's the team that we're playing if we have a consistent team?
Muric, Taylor, if he's fit, Bayer, if he's fit, Ekdal, because the others haven't performed. It's got to be Roberts at right back, hasn't it? I would then play Benson, Zaruri, Burge. I haven't picked a central midfielder, so it would be Cullen and Foster up front. I don't know how many players that is, but that would be the nucleus of my team.
I think that was 10.
Yeah, you need an extra player. You can have another player, Neil. Go on.
Oh, stick Brownhill in then. Stick Brownhill.
We don't need him. We don't need it. We just need 10.
I just know the nucleus of what I put in, and everything else is just dressing.
No, I agree. I think that the lads from last season deserve a chance now. That includes Muric. Muric should be, for me, the player that comes in next. We've tried everything else. Try Muric. That might help. But the thing is, I don't think he will. I think he'll play Trafford again on Saturday. Then he'll play Muric against Everton. I've been told that Dyche doesn't want to lose that match and he's going to play a strong side. So then we'll play Muric in there and then we'll get spanked by a strong Everton side because we play a B team. And then everyone will be like, oh, see, what's the point in Muric? But again, the players from last season, I agree with you, Neil. Benson, Aurora, Foster. I'm not sure I'd have Burge if I'm not having him in. I like him, but I think I'd probably rather have Jacob Ramsey in there, so more from him. But I'd go back to Cork and Cullen. Just give them two a go. Sorry, Aaron Ramsey. Yeah, which he's injured as well, to be fair, so we might as well bring him in. Have another one in injury room. Aaron Ramsey, not the old one, the young one. But yeah, I saw a lot from him. He was class against Man United. But I don't know. I like Berg as well. I just feel like company doesn't see him as that sort of player. So like, don't play him if you don't want to play him there.
Berg was growing into that role.
Yeah,
you can see there was signs of improvement, and then all of a sudden, nah.
Everybody knows he doesn't work at DM. We all know it. We're not football. We've got nothing to do with football other than we pay a football club money to sit and watch them, and we all chat shit on a stream once a week.
Whoa, excuse me.
Companies.
My football manager record, mate.
Man's shocking. The best I've ever done with Football Manager is get Accrington Stanley to the Championship. Then I got relegated. So I'm dreadful. But even we know that Sander Berge isn't a DM. So why is Vincent Kompany making these changes? It's
you've got, like you say, like if you'd have gone last season, right, and you looked at the team that we went up with, would either of you? And do you know what? Get your comments in. Would anybody have took Benson and Ziyech out of that team? Anyone?
What, from last season? No. From
last season? No. Because I'm also the same. I said that if we came into the Premier League, those two kick on and they're 25, 30 million pound players next season. What we've done is we got a bid from AC Milan for 25 million pounds from Mo Benson. And now all we're doing by not playing these players is decreasing the value because no one's watching them. They're not getting exposed by anything. But the players that are playing, we're not going to get return on investment for because they are playing, but not very well.
Exactly. So, that's what I was saying earlier. I think this whole strategy of buying them as for profit is going to backfire because they're playing that shite. No one's going to buy them.
But this is what I'm saying though. That you buy 2-3, like you Burnley, you buy 2-3 of them per season, maybe, and that's a maybe. I'd probably say you buy 2 per season as project players, and you chuck them in as and when.
Yeah,
we haven't got a starting 11 right now, and we've paid £13 million on an 18-year-old that played half a season for Troyes. Oh, sorry, no, he played a full season for Troyes, but they got relegated. Koleosho played 4 games, and we spent £4 million on him. Like, there's just little things that I just can't wrap my head around. And the biggest one is a team that went up as champions after winning the league in February have gone up and have 3 players from that championship winning team still in their team. My dad made a good point the other day. He said any team that's gone up as champions with over 100 points, look back on what the lineup was when they got promoted and what the lineup was that played nearly every game in the Premier League. And it won't be far different. They'll have added quality in areas that they thought were lacking before. Whereas what we've done is we've bought loads of players.
Completely ripped out the heart and soul of that side.
Exactly. And now he's starting again. And unfortunately, what it's done is we've not taken to that style of football and we've not taken to the these first 10 games that we've played because we've won once, drawn one, and lost loads and loads and loads of games. So unfortunately, we're really, really, really sorry that we're not happy. We're really, really sorry. But what this has come from top to bottom. And that's not us as fans. Like, you know, that's not us as fans. So like I say, going back to the drum thing, like, don't make it about us because this starts with the club. We're only reacting based off of what you lot have done. This isn't us. So do with that what you will. You're not watching, so.
You never know. You never know. You never know. I know they're aware of us. But Graham Jennings, he said therapy sessions like this are required. It will improve, but it needs to quickly. Roberts, I think, will be better if he was doing the same role as last season. But with the wrong LB, his role has changed. And you said that, didn't you, Sam? I think in the WhatsApp group recently. His role's changed because we don't have Martson. So they're trying to get Roberts to do the role that Martson used to do, and Roberts isn't good enough to do it. That's why all the passes into the field are dreadful this season. And he goes on to name his best teams, does Graham Murich. Roberts, Bayer, Retnall, Taylor, Cullen, Cork, I'm doing it. Benson, Foster, Aurora. Pretty spot on. Yeah, I think I might change I'm doing it for Ramsey, but I like I'm doing it. Ginger Alice says, hi, guys. 53 minutes into the show, mate. Where have you been? But it's what I don't get is, I know I've already said it, but I just find it baffling that Vincent says, like, his thing is players need a lot of time to adjust to my style. So then why have you bought a completely new team? Or if it's one of these clubs now where Alan's saying, oh, I brought this guy and you can have this guy, you can have that guy, you can have that guy, why are you then playing all these players? It just don't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense.
Because we didn't actually, in hindsight, have a logical window. We didn't have a left back from day dot. We didn't buy a left back. Like, you knew that as left back that we had on loan wasn't coming back. So you spent all transfer window trying to sign him. We said for ages, like, we don't want transfer sagas anymore. We don't want things that last weeks. We just want to get it done. Find players that want to play, sign them. Don't go after Maatsen all window. And then on the last day when he says no, go, well, we'll buy a centre-back from Anderlecht and play him left back while we decide whether Charlie Taylor's a good enough left back at left back. Like, it's just like all these things just don't make sense. Like, centre halves as well. Like, we knew we lost Howard Bellis. We needed to replace him with a good player. So Dara O'Shea on paper was a good signing, but you spent £6 million and £15 million on Bayer and him, but you're still playing a 19-year-old centre-back who only started like 7 games last season, and Ekdal's not featured at all, who's a Swedish international. Like, these are the things that I can't understand. Like, there's such obvious answers, but no one's communicating that to us. And the only way that we get communication through that is by picking players on a team sheet. And the team sheets are just completely wrong. So then all we get to do is scrutinise the team sheet, because when we do lose 3-0, you turn around and go, well, Al Dakil's conceded nearly the most goals in the entire league so far and played nearly every minute. So do you change it? Yes. Take him out. Take him out and try something else. See what's different when you change the lineup. Don't just keep playing these same players that aren't performing, because that's just pointless.
Wonderful, Parker. Thank you. But no, I did obviously hear all of that, Sam. I'll be with you in a minute, mate. But what do we do then going forward now? Because I just want to quickly bring something up. And when I bring something up, I'll just quickly go and attend to this, Parker. If you just give me a second, please. Let's bring the league table up. I know it's not great viewing, but let's have a look at it now. The beauty of the situation is that we are still within touching distance because everybody else is horrendous as well. So I'll quickly ask a question and then shoot off. So please excuse me. I will be able to hear you in my headphones as well. I'll just quickly zoom in actually, because I don't think people are going to be able to see that. Because obviously the league table is this now for those of you watching on the podcasts. We are listening on the podcast. Sorry, we are 18th. Bournemouth are beneath us. So obviously a massive game at the weekend. Then you've got Sheffield United beneath us as well. And we're still only 1 point away from Luton. And just the 3 points away from Everton. But I think I think the bottom four is the bottom four as it is now, if I'm going to be honest with you. And then after that, it's a situation of you know, they're going to be okay. But does anybody here, get your comments in, and the people in Neil and Sam. Neil, I'll start with you, then I'll shoot off. Do you still think we'll stay up? And if we do stay up, how do we do it?
At this moment, On form, no, because looking at that form table, Luton have got what we haven't, which is 2 more yellows and a green, whereas we've only got that one, right? So at this present time, no, but I am confident that eventually they will run out of steam and we will gradually get better, but we aren't going to get much higher than 17. I just think it's what we've already said. Company needs to go back to last season team that got us there. I mean, for one, what have any of those lads done to deserve being dropped and without even being tried? So get those lads back in who we've still got, if they're fit. I know that it can't be helped in some cases where they're not fit, like Ekdal and Benson and stuff, but get them back in. Gradually integrate the new lads. They've had a good crack at it. It's not worked. It's time for Vinny to just bite the bullet and admit that his little experiment hasn't gone to plan. Let's what's the phrase I'm looking for? Drop back to the drawing board, get the old lads in and push on from there. That's what we need to do to win. On current form, no, we are going down. But overall, I think we will gradually improve. And I think Luton, at the minute, are doing better than us. And they are showing signs that they've got more fight than us. But I think we will swap with them as the season goes on.
Sam?
Sorry, I zoned out a bit then. Not that I want listening, Neil. I'm just trying to think of how I
Rude.
No, I'm trying to think of how I can actually sound positive. Right. So there's still 29 games left. And there is still a possibility that we get better. There is. But from what you've seen now, I see no positive. I just don't. I don't see any positive to the style of play. We're getting worse. That's the most annoying thing. Our performances are getting worse and worse and worse. After that game against Luton, I came away from that kind of like, thank God that we actually won that, because for that entire second half, I genuinely thought they could win this. They could win this because they got that equaliser, and I thought there's no way we get a goal. And then Brun Larson out of nowhere scores a worldie, and we actually get saved with that. But that genuinely should have been a draw, really. So we actually should only be on 2 points, and then that looks even worse. But our performances are the worst part. It's not points. Like I've said before, like I've never been one of these people that's like sat here moaning about league position. I don't just look at stats and statistics. I look at what I'm watching, and what I'm watching is dross. We're not watching good football. We're not playing well. As managers getting it wrong. You've got the owners, or maybe not the owners, but you've got people from within the club telling people to sort out the atmosphere. Like, there isn't any positive right now. The only positive that we've got is that there's 29 games left. Like, and we have got the opportunity in the number of games that we have to actually try and make a push to get better. But right now, off of the performances, there's what positives have we got other than Lyle Foster? That's it. Like this is my thing. We've done an hour-long video here. What positives have we talked about? What positives can you possibly pluck from any of it? Because there ain't any.
Said, just Lyle.
Do you know? But that's what I mean. Lyle. That's it.
And maybe Coley Osho as well.
Yeah, but even then, he came on the other day. He should have scored. Like, and I know he's a kid, and I also know that the other side of his game is brilliant. I do get that, but in these moments where you really, really need it, he's missed from like 4 yards because he hit it with wrong foot.
Yeah, why is he
he's a quality player? No, but he's a quality player, but he's 19. You can't lean on a 19-year-old. Like, you can't look at a game and be like, this 19-year-old's going to take everything as it comes with the scruff of his neck, and he's going to score 2 goals in this game, because he just didn't. If you've only got Foster and Coley Osho playing well and your only positives, and you're carrying 9 other players around pitch, what positives have we got? Because that is it. 9 other players are being carried in the game. So, right, prove me wrong next week, but they won't.
I agree. It's. I've never been one to say that a game in October is a 6-pointer or a must-win, but it's probably as close as it's ever been for Burnley Football Club. If we go to Bournemouth and get dicked again, like we got dicked at Brentford, where we are absolutely embarrassed into not just the scoreline, like you said, even if they played well and somehow lost 3-0, I'd come away with it and think of, oh well, at least there's some signs there that we're playing well. But at the minute, we're just not playing well, and we're getting dicked. And if that carries on at Bournemouth this weekend, then I just don't know where we go for it. It's just going to be an absolute chore for the next 6 months.
The thing is now,
it's going to be a pain in the arse.
Bournemouth are going to get new manager bounce as well.
Well, exactly. Like they're not that we should. I'm not saying that, but like to another club, like they're doing something about the bad performances. Like, but they also haven't had like the season that we had last season with Company, so that's why it's different. But like they're trying to do something different. Like my issue now is like we go into that Bournemouth game, right? Are you confident in that game at all? Like, are you actually confident? Because the only positive thing that we have now is that a lot of Burnley fans are now of the same mentality. Nobody will come out and say Bournemouth were a top 10 team last season. That's the only positive that we've got. Because if we do get beat by them, no one's going to go, well, they were top 10 last season. It's like, well, everyone's in top 10 then. We shouldn't beat anyone. We should just lose every game at the end of the season and get relegated. Fine, whatever. But that's the only positive. If we go to Bournemouth and we win, the table looks different, and I'm back to right. It's possible. Lose
back tweeting again. He'll get the dust off his phone.
Because the thing is, it's like, what do I tweet about now? Like, guess the lineup. I might as well just pick under 17s because it could be anyone. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I'm hoping they can prove me wrong, and I'm hoping we can turn the season around. But on current form and what we've seen for the last couple of weeks, it's getting worse. It's not getting better. So everyone talking about performances will get better. You've lied. If you've said that after the Aston Villa game, you said we'll get better, you've lied because we haven't. We've got worse. So cheers.
Yeah, I'm one of them who is clinging on to the hope that it may get better. But I've got no evidence to suggest that it will. No evidence to suggest that it will get better.
Sorry, it's just the cheers finished me off. The cheers finished me off there.
Sorry. We need something. We need something against Bournemouth. If we get dicked at Bournemouth, then I think we can back up and go on, and then something needs to happen. But I'm not going to do a man of the match.
Finally. I just want to win and score more than a goal a game. I just want to see us play well. Like, just play well. Like, lose 6-0, but play well. Hit the crossbar a couple of times. Shoot. Just like, don't make me watch one shot in a game and watch somebody else shoot 28 times. Like, boring.
There's no man of the match, Joe, just to go back to what you're saying. But shout out to the fans who went because the atmosphere was good and it was shit. So
I got the man of the match. Get in.
Yeah.
Man of the match fans. To go all that way, to watch that shite, still make a noise, fair play.
Yeah. Man of the match for fans other than Joe. Because he's right.
Man of the match. I'll take man of the match because I got drenched on the way home. Honestly, it as they scored the second, it started raining. And I'm like, oh, no, come on. Not now. Not now. And then they scored the third. And by the time they scored the third, it was chucking it down. I'm like, right. It was like, what were it, 87th minute or something? I don't know. I'm like, Parker, come on, we're going. And he's like, why are they going? Like, because they're rubbish. Anyway, so
you put a tweet out as well saying like, oh, Parker, one of Parker's first games, like getting Parker, get out.
Kicking him downstairs. And I had him on my shoulders walking back to the car and it was chucking it down, absolutely leathering it. I was like, Daddy, my shoes are undone. I'm like, it don't matter, you're on my shoulders, come on. I'm trying to get back to the car. And he's like, I'm drenched, Daddy. I'm like, so am I. I know you're drenched, mate. It's rain, it's what happens. I'm drenched as well.
I'd have been like, listen, you might be drenched in rain, but I'm drenched in misery. That's what I am. So who's worse? Me.
Solid Claret says £7 a pint in the pub as well. Yeah, weren't cheap, was it? Fly over Fred says, did Child Services contact you, Joe, for taking your lad to that? I'm expecting an email at any moment, mate. To be honest, I'm expecting an email at any moment. But is there anything else you want to add, lads, before we go? Because we've got to an hour and 5 minutes. So we're well over the time limit. But anything you want to add before we go?
I've given enough of my time to Burnley's shite for this week.
Yeah, we still love you. We'll support you. We'll support you through everything, but just sort it out because I'm miserable with you right now. I'm just miserable now.
No, yeah, same. Well, thank you, Neil, for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Sam, for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure. Always love a Sam rant. And it took 17 minutes before I even asked him a question because I knew as soon as I did, he'd be like, ah! And that's exactly what happened. But that's why we love him. That's why he's here.
Boil over. And then that's when I just get going. And we start talking about stuff. You ask a brilliant question, I'm just like, no, it's not right.
Yeah. Icky Punk says Joe using his lad as a rain hat. That was half of the thinking. I will be honest. That was all. He said, "Daddy, can I go on your shoulders?" I'm like, you know what? Yes, you can. Because at first I was carrying him like this. He's like, "Don't carry me like that." I'm like, "All right, fine. I'll put you on my shoulders." But then he kept leaning back, and that will wind him up. And he kept turning round, and then that will wind him up. Like, Parker, just look forward, man. Oh, not. You know what? I have memories of going to Gillingham away and stuff like that, and getting beat and. It's what made me the man I am today. It's character building. So Parker, remember that. Although I will get some stick for this, and I did get some stick for this on Instagram. He asked for a half and half scarf, so I bought him one. And someone put on Instagram, half and half scarf though, Joe. And I put, he's 5. Allow it. You've got to allow it. He's 5-year-old. Well, Sam's gone anyway.
I'm not doing this.
Sam's gone.
No.
I nearly put it in the bin, but I didn't. I thought he could have that for when he's older. And he says, "Why have we got one of these rubbish things?" I'll say, "It's your first ever game. Allow it. You were 5. Harry says, "Who thinks we stay up?" Literally nobody. Although I still think we'll stay up based on absolutely nothing whatsoever. If we carry on this form, we're not staying up. But anyway, thank you, Neil, for coming on the show. Thank you, Sam, for coming on the show. Always a pleasure. No. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, everybody, for putting a comment in. Always love the comments. It's absolutely brilliant to have you all on board. It's absolutely brilliant to have you all commenting so much. We've had some good numbers on this one as well, whether it's the number of concurrent viewers or the number of likes or the number of comments, all good. So it's fantastic. So very, very thank you to everybody who gets involved. If you haven't already, please do like us on social media, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. And if you are watching this and you came in late, as soon as I end the stream, it becomes a standalone video. You can watch it back whenever you want. And if you're watching this and you think, you know what, I could do with listening to something on the morning, in the morning, on the way to work, then the podcast will be up for your morning commute. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks, everybody, for contributing. I'll be back for a pre-game show before the Bournemouth match, for some reason, in midweek. Bye.
Goodbye.